Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Finance Agents Live. Thanks for hanging on and waiting for us to get started. YouTube got a little bit grumpy again, but we are on and live and excited to get started. Darren, if you could pull up the PowerPoint, make sure everybody sees the slides that we're going to be going through this. Today is an exciting day for us. Today we're going to be interviewing Anthony Morgan from Prestige Business Financial Solutions. He has been with us for a long time. He was an agent way before we even had the member office structure. And so you're going to get an up-close person. You're going to be able to ask him questions. You'll get to hear firsthand what his experience has been like and his input on the market, how it's been changing over the years. So we're going to get into that in just a second. But before we start, we'll give an update on the agents. If you've been watching the other interviews, we passed the 20,000, number 20,000 agent mark, which is an exciting number for us. And if you remember, we announced that whoever agent number 20,000 was, 20000, whoever that was going to win a free recruiter for the year. And the other day I announced who it was, but it turns out that person was actually a lead that signed up as an agent by accident. So it ends up going to the next person on the list, George Dorsey. We'll be reaching out to George Dorsey today, or maybe Ryan is. George is actually an agent with Ryan's office from Gravity Finance, if you were watching the other day. He saw that we were going to be giving out a prize, and he started marketing like crazy for agents because he said he wanted one of his agents to get the prize, so they did. So George Dorsey is going to win free recruiter for a year. Congratulations, George. Glad to have you part of the team. All right, so moving on. Today we're going to be talking, like I said, to Anthony Morgan. Anthony's actually on the phone already. How you doing today, Anthony?
I am doing fantastic. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing great. We're glad to have you here. Anthony is on the phone calling us from Hawaii. Life is rough for Anthony. He travels between Hawaii and the Philippines and Thailand, and we were just talking about the next time he's coming to California. So life is rough. We're glad to have you on the phone and happy to be working with you. Now, Anthony is member office number 5, really one of the first member offices that came on, and has been with us for a long time. We've got his LinkedIn profile right here. So, Anthony, on your profile, it says you have direct lender, financial services, FAU treasurer. Why don't you tell us about some of the stuff you got on your LinkedIn profile?
Oh, God, I do a lot, Tim. I've been doing finances for probably about 3 to 4 good years now, and I've been with you in finance agents for most of that time, and I've been loving the experience. By the way, I think you have a great organization there, a great setup. I love the staff. I love Trey. Trey's a great guy.
Great.
You've been great as well. But I do a combination of a lot of different things. I do some things outside of finance agents, but most of the things I do is within. So I am a direct lender, so I do have my own funds that I can lend in certain situations, but most of those are some real estate related deals.
Yeah, what is that?
I
haven't talked to you about that, if you don't mind. I'm just curious. In what situations are you doing direct lending?
Pretty much, I do direct lending I do some personal loans of my own, depending on what the situation is.
Uh-huh.
I do a lot of real estate deals here in Hawaii, where I am the lender. I probably do about 1 or 2 deals a month, so not on a huge scale, but I do some roughly around $300 to $600 thousand deals here in the state of Hawaii. I do some stuff in California. I'm actually working with the mayor of LA, actually in California.
Really?
Part of my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I've been working with him probably now for a good year and his staff. Shouts out to Terry over there. He works in the Economic Development Center for the mayor. Also part of a lot of different organizations. Part of what my LinkedIn profile states is that I'm actually treasurer of FAU, which is Friends of the African Union. They do a lot of direct things with Africa. I'm actually supposed to have been flying to meet the president of Zimbabwe last weekend, but I didn't do that.
Wow.
Yes. So I'm doing some things in Africa directly. I'm also a director of a global business incubator called GBI, and they're actually hub out of California. So I handle a lot of their finances. So it's a lot of organizations that I'm linked to. So the
That's
LinkedIn
great.
profile just kind of touches on some of those other organizations.
Well, send us
that
your...
So it's a lot that I do.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Send us your parameters if we come across a good deal. We actually, surprisingly, over the last few months have had a number of Hawaii deals come through here. I don't know, we're not necessarily looking for them, but I've seen a bunch come through real estate related, so you never know. Maybe we can send you some loans.
Of course, 100%. I'm open to that. As long as the criteria meets the criteria, I'm good with that.
Sure.
So just send them to me. I'll take a look at them. 100%. Of course.
Well, good. Let us know, and we'll do that. So we have on here that you actually signed up with us as an agent August 22 of 2012. So you've been with us for coming up on 6 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Right. So about 4 of those years, you were an agent with us, which, if you're watching, you're not sure what that means, is that he referred in prospects and then somebody internally did the sale. And because you were such a good producer, you're one of the first people that we went to say, hey, you could do this whole thing yourself. Why don't you become an office? And luckily you did, and it worked. You came on as an office with us February 2nd of 2016, which, again, we had just offered this in January. So you're office number 5, one of the first to come on. So you've probably seen a lot of changes to our office structure over the last couple of years. But again, why don't do you have any idea how you found Finance Agents originally?
I do, because I was just like a lot of other small business owners, and I was looking for funding. I started out, after my military career, actually doing my career, I was kind of transitioning into doing real estate myself, and I was looking for funding, just like everyone else was. So I was looking from place to place, getting the inquiries, this and that. And then I came across your website. So I came across your website. I looked at it. I was like, this is it seemed like this is a great opportunity and a great place for me to get funded. And I actually did get funding. I actually went through the 0% or the line of credit product. So I started with that product, and then I fell in love with the product. I got it. I did a couple real estate deals that I wanted to do. And then I looked at you again from a business perspective. And then I looked at, becoming an agent, and I became an agent. Then the rest is kind of history. It just kind of grew from there. So I started out just like everyone else, looking for funding. And then I found you, and, I got funding.
That's a perfect way to start. And once you've actually gone through the process, it's pretty easy to tell people how it works and what's good about it. So I'm glad that worked out for you. So tell me, how have things changed for you since opening your office with us? I know you got probably a lot of different changes in your life. How long ago did you leave the military?
I retired in February of 2015, and that was kind of around the time that I was kind of ramping up the member office. And that was a great opportunity because I've always been networked. I always have a lot of people in my circles. I had people in my circles that was already looking for funding. I have an internet marketing company, so I know how to market. I've always been a great, marketer. So it was just a great fit for me, and the platform that you guys have is amazing. So for me, it was a kind of a no-brainer. I talked to Trey about it. I thought about it for a couple of days, and I was like, yes, this is a no-brainer. And then I pretty much came on board. It's been a lot of changes. Like you mentioned, I've been one of the first member offices. So, some things have changed, but everything has changed for the better. To me, everything now is more streamlined. You have a lot of more products and services. Customer service is great. The turnaround time on the reviews is amazing. So, I haven't had any complaints, from my clients going through the process. And that's very important to me because, I have a lot of clients. I have a lot of people that I mentor and that I help. So I needed a place to send my clients through that I know that they would be taken care of. And you provide the platform for that. So the changes I've seen was just the constant growth, you and your company has had, over the last couple of years. I've just seen everything change and grow for the better. So I can't be more happier than being associated with you guys.
Well, good, and we love working with you. I appreciate the positive feedback, and there's definitely been some bumps over the last couple of years as we launched new products and tried new things, so we appreciate you riding it through and saying great things about us. So what did you think over the last couple of years? We've launched a lot of new tools. The CRM is one of the new things because I don't believe you had access to that before. What are the tools have you liked the best? Is it the learning management system? Is it the affiliate marketing portal, CRM, or maybe something else?
I really like the CRM because I'm not the most organized person, in the world. So that's kind of one of my, bad parts is that I'm not the most organized. So the CRM actually helps me manage everything that I need to manage. It's in one place. You can put your notes there. You submit everything. The information comes back into one place. So me just having the CRM is amazing for me, because if I didn't have that, then, I'd be all over the place, doing all kinds of things. So I like that. I like the fact that it's pretty streamlined. If I sign up an agent, I just really need to point them to the back office. The back office has everything there. It has the training. It has available documents. It has everything that's needed. So I'm the type of guy, I go 100 miles an hour. So I slow down rarely, and if I can streamline anything, I'm going to do it. So your system in the back office helps me streamline the agent process, because it does most of the heavy lifting for me, because it provides everything that's needed.
Great.
So that's the most important part to me, is the CRM, but also the availability of the training. So if someone needed more training, if an agent or a client, you have the ability to send them through the agent training, and I think that's amazing as well. That does a lot of heavy lifting for me as well.
Good. Now, what have you found has been the hardest part of running your own funding company?
It's a couple different things. One, as I mentioned, organization is not my strong suit, so that's been challenging. Staying organized. Time management as well. I'm only one person. So, and I'm nationwide, and I'm actually global on some things. So time management has been a challenge. I think I have that, managed fairly well now, in organization. So those two things were kind of the hardest parts for me. Everything else has been semi-natural. Like I said, I am a marketer. I have, huge circles of people, that I'm connected with and speak to. So for me, organization and time management, and your CRM, again, that helps me with both of those things. So those are my most hardest challenges right there, those two things.
Okay, great. Well, good. We have a question from one of our viewers that I want to throw in, because I'd be really interested to know the difference, or your answer as well. What do you think you'd do differently if you started today as opposed to 2 years ago? What would you do differently? Or let's say you're brand new to funding. What would you do differently now that you've been working in the system for a while and you know how it works?
I just say stay true to yourself. Set the proper expectations to the people that you're trying to fund. I see a lot of people a lot of agents and a lot of my colleagues that don't set the proper expectations, and then the client gets upset because they overpromised something and couldn't deliver. So starting out for myself, always had integrity, and, I was always honest, coming through the military. That's just been part of me. But starting out differently, I think that I would focus more on my ideal client versus I do mass marketing, yes, but I would try to get more targeted in the marketing, because when I first started, I was all over the place. I didn't really have a marketing plan. So I say sit down, think about who your ideal client is going to be, and kind of focus in some niche markets to start, and just kind of get that going first, and then kind of expand out to the masses. So just kind of get more detailed in your marketing. That would be what I would do personally if I had to start all over again, because I was all over the place when I first started.
Awesome. Well, amen to that, because I've been saying that a lot. So I think it's literally the number one mistake that people make, is that we have so many different options available. They want to offer everything, and they end up having trouble getting through to any one thing. So I definitely appreciate that comment. So why don't you tell us about, can you think of an interesting client or interesting business that you've worked with over the years? Maybe it's worth bringing up. Because I find the clients to be really interesting. One of the rewarding parts of the job is talking to a new business with an idea that I've never heard of before.
I come across a lot of interesting clients through the day. I get a lot of inquiries. Some people that want, sex shops to, to drug shops. I hate to say that online, but it's just, people have so many different ideas and so many different things that they want to put out there and get funded for. And I come across just so many. It's just so many. One person that I came across, I don't know if I should be saying this, but he called me up and he was like, well, I'm trying to finance this drug operation. I was like, excuse me? He was like, yes, I'm trying to fund this. I said, no, this is not the type of funding that I do and that you're looking for. So I don't know what you're looking for. So it's just a lot of different things, Tim. I mean, I get a lot of different off the wall clients that want things that I can't help them with because some of them are not legal and some of them I just won't get involved in. So, I get that every day. So I just have to weed those people out. So it's right.
Yeah, that's one of the things you learn as you do this is figure out who you can't help and move on as quickly as possible so they don't suck up a bunch of your time. One interesting client, kind of nothing to do with drugs, but you're getting a lot more drug businesses these days now that it's legal in some states. We get inquiries all the time for that. But I had a woman come to me, she wanted to buy a $10 million building, and she had no money, bad credit, and no experience buying buildings. And it amazes me that somebody thinks financing works like that. I'm glad people think so highly of us that we could get something like that done, but definitely not possible. Tell us about the last client that you submitted for funding. I don't know if you're submitting clients all the time, so I don't know if off the top of your head, not their name, of course, but do you remember anything about the last client you submitted?
Of course. I had a lady. She was in Ohio. I'm not going to say the name, but she was very passionate about her business. We spoke for about a good hour. She was telling me all the different things she was trying to do in the community. And she was planning this business to launch this business for the last 2 years. She had everything together. She had her LLC created. She had business documents. She had everything ready to go. And she was so passionate that I actually didn't mind, listening to her for, and actually got a phone number. We became friends over the last couple of days, talking about some different other things. But, she was prepped. She had everything prepped. She was so excited. Her passion was just amazing. So actually, she was approved. We sent her through the process to get a line of credit, which is one of the most popular products, that's out there that my clients like. And the review came back today, and she was approved. I think it's for over 45 or 50,000. So I had the pleasure of giving her a call, and she was very excited because she was looking forward to this moment. Just to get some things started in her business, like a website and, and hiring someone. So she was very, very excited. So I love coming across the clients that put a little bit of work in and that's passionate about what they're doing. And I can just kind of see or kind of feel their expression and their energy, as they get funded. So that's my last client, and she's a great client. So I love coming across those types of clients.
What kind of business was she starting?
She's starting like a floral business.
So
she prepped for it. She has a location. She has a couple employees lined up. She has a couple clients that's already ready, to place orders. And she was just very excited. She was a very energetic person. So I love working with those, those types of clients, that makes my day, helping someone else. So I love that. I love the energy.
Great. All right. So that's some of the positive side. Now, on the other side of it, if for people who aren't watching, maybe they're not familiar with the industry, is you're going to come across a lot of deals that won't go through, and you want to help them out. So tell us about a deal that didn't fund and what happened.
Well, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier, is setting the proper expectations and don't overpromise anything. I say that to say you're going to come across a lot of clients that you can't help. So if you can't help that client, what are you going to do? Are you just going to turn them away? Are you going to take a couple minutes and maybe give them some options? Are you going to give them some pointers? So I had a couple deals that didn't go through lately, but it wasn't because of the system. It's just because they didn't have what they needed. Maintaining your credit is important. All the programs is not credit driven, of course. But if you have a client that just doesn't have what they need, they didn't have anything. They didn't have any collateral. They didn't have any business income. They was a startup. They had, terrible credit. They didn't have a credit partner. So it just wasn't anything there that I can work with. But I did spend the time to give them some pointers and say, hey, you do need credit repair. Why don't you try to find a credit partner? Here's some tips on how to get a credit partner. So they just have to be prepared to take the next step. So I like those clients too that's eager and that's ready to take the next step, even though they did not get approved for funding.
Okay, great. We do have a number of questions come in. I'm going to kind of give quick answers. Feel free to disagree with anything I say, since I'm going to put some words in your mouth here. Somebody asked if he started as an affiliate first, and yes, he did. He was an agent with us for 4 years before coming on as an office. And then somebody else asked what was your major source of leads at the beginning, and what I believe you said was that it started off with your local network, which people that you know, people that are looking for funding, and from then you've also been able to do internet marketing, right? So in the beginning, you think you got more deals from your personal network or from your marketing, and has that changed a lot over the years?
No, always maintain a good network, and a good way to do that, of course, is to stay active on social media. Facebook. You can be in the Facebook groups. Stay active with your LinkedIn. So you always want to be kind of plugged into the right groups on social media, just to kind of get those leads. You don't have to aggressively market on social media, but you can just kind of put out there what you do. I do provide, business funding for small businesses. Just kind of keep the message subtle. You don't have to be aggressive and pound your message every day on social media, but just let people know what you do. Be proud of what you do. It's a lot of people out there that need your services. It's a lot of people that can't move forward until they meet someone, as yourself. So I started out with my local network. Always, as I mentioned, been connected. It's been one of my things. I stay connected with a lot of people, a lot of business owners, and just a lot of people that's entrepreneurial minded. So if you're not in those groups of people, you need to kind of put yourself around those types of people, because that's going to help you grow your business and grow your network. So I kind of started out with my inner circle of people. I mean, that was good enough to get me started. And then over time, as I grew my internet marketing business, of course, I got more targeted on lead generation. LinkedIn is a great place for leads. People on LinkedIn they're professionals. They're looking for funding. Even if they're a startup or they've been in business for 20 years, they still need funding. They still need to expand. They need equipment. They need a lot of programs that finance agents have to offer. So start out with your inner circle first, if that's not the people that you can convert. And then I highly recommend, get yourself positioned in social media next, and then put your message out there subtly at first. Don't be too aggressive, because that's going to turn people off. And then after that, you can start learning how to market to the masses. Craigslist is good. Backpage is good. Just keep it simple. I learned that keeping it simple works. If you overcomplicate the message, if you overcomplicate things, right? To me, it didn't work out. So I keep things very simplistic. Don't overthink it, overcomplicate anything.
Excellent. That's excellent feedback. So the next question is, you're running an office with us. How do you have your office structured? Now, you said you're, working alone right now. Do you have any people that work directly with you? Do you have a lot of agents that work with you, or do you do mostly your own lead generation? What's the general structure of how you have it running?
It changed over a period of time. At first, it was just me running it, to the point where I couldn't run it. So, I do have assistants, that helps me, with the phone calls, that helps me with the scheduling. I am a big fan of outsourcing. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but that's something that I do. I have a staff of about 4 different people that do different things for me. To help me stay organized, to help me with the calls, to help me with scheduling. I found it where I work best with my ideal clients, so I do some pre-screening along the way. So my office is small, but it's very effective. Like I said, I have about 4 people to include myself. I do most of the consulting myself, because I like the hands-on. I want to meet the people that I'm talking with. I want to kind of gauge the market, see what's going on out there. So I'm very active in the consulting, but the other tasks that I don't necessarily need to do myself, I don't do. I have my staff that do those other tasks, scheduling, submitting things, gathering documents, those kind of things.
Great.
So that's how I am structured. I'm structured small, but I think very effective because of the things that I've learned, the things I need to do and not to do, which help me with my time management. So I'm not a big operation, but I'm very effective.
Well, good.
We get the job done fairly well.
Now, how have you seen the funding market change over the last 5 years since you've been working with us? Do you see yourself doing a lot more of one type of loan that you didn't do in the past, or are some things easier or harder to do? What have you seen?
I'm seeing a lot of people that's having harder times obtaining funding. I think the regulations has changed, and I think people expectations has changed, and I think that a lot of people are very discouraged when it comes to funding. Like, when I get some people, they're like, oh, I know I'm not going to get approved, but, let me submit this anyway. And I'm like, well,
right.
We haven't even done anything yet. So I've seen that people are just getting beat up out there as far as looking for some place or someone that they can trust that can kind of help them along the way. And I think I do a good job at that. And I think I do take them in, talk to them, tell them what they need to do, if I can convert them or not. So to answer your question, it's just a lot of people that I called and just got beat up, over the years, and they're not as trusting, so you really have to take those clients in and actually try to help the client. For me, it's not about just a conversion. I actually do want to help the client. So what I've seen over the last couple of years is just, like I said, people being discouraged. You really have to talk to them, and work with them. That's the main thing. It's just, people discouraged. They haven't found a source. So
right.
Finance agents is a great source. So when they come across the member office, they're very excited, once I get a chance to talk to them, because there's so many different options that they have here, and they kind of find like a home. Once I have a client, I pretty much can have that client for years,
right.
Because of the relationship that I have with them in the different programs that we have. So that's the main thing that I come across.
Okay. What would you say is your biggest growth focus for the next 3 years? What do you want to do more of? Do you want to do more agent business? Is there a specific funding product that you're looking to ramp up? Or is there an industry or geography? How do you really want to focus your growth going forward?
Based on the organizations that I'm already working with, some of the organizations has been approved for certain projects in 10 different major cities. I'm not going to get into that too much, but I will be kind of like the portal to help a lot of new people coming in. It's going to be probably like 20-some thousand new businesses coming in.
Wow.
So my projections, yes, it's going to be pretty huge. Just some things that I'm doing in the background.
Awesome.
Which already been approved. So in the next 3 years, I want to put these services in front of the right people for them to funnel their businesses through us. So I want to do a better job in expanding and educating, letting people know that these products exist. I want to focus a lot on the line of credit. That is a very popular one because, you can get that as a startup. So I just want to expand the right way, put these products in front of the right people that could help the right people. So I want to target the right people to put this product in front of. And that's what I'm doing now.
Well, good.
To get this out to the masses. Okay.
Well, that sounds like a great plan, and we look forward to working with you on that. Real excited to hear about these new partnerships that you're setting up, and that's great. So, Anthony, again, I really appreciate you coming on the line today, taking time out of your busy schedule, jumping off the plane. We were going to do his interview the other day, but he got stuck on a trip back from Thailand or Philippines. Again, we appreciate your time, and we'll go ahead and let you go. But thank you again for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tim. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, so if you're on, make sure to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be monthly update number 2 for the CredNext Challenge. So if you've been watching, we've been tracking 10 people's progress as they go through their credit report correction process. And we're telling you exactly what's happening so you know exactly how it works. I'm starting to slur here. Exactly how it works if you want to be a client of CredNext or you want to refer CredNext clients. So come back tomorrow, check it out, or look forward to having you there. If you're new to the show, then please subscribe and then come back as much as you want. Appreciate all the comments and questions everybody had, and we look forward to doing a lot more deals together. Talk to you soon.